we are discussing about how to write the abstracts. So today we are going to discuss about the titles of the abstract. So titles are of two types, one is indicative and other is declarative titles. As the word suggests, indicative means giving the subject matter or the purpose of the abstract, while declarative titles are those that are informative and give the overall conclusion of the abstract. But there are other points that needs to be taken care while writing the title of any abstract. So it should accurately reflect about the study and specifies the scope of the study, including the study design. That is very important to include into the title, whether it is an observational study, it is a survey study, questionnaire based study, it's a cross sectional study, randomized control trial, double blind trial. So we need to give a brief about the study design in the title. Then we have to state the subject of the paper and not the results. In declarative titles, you will argue that why not the results if it is a declarative title. So in declarative title, I'll show you an example. What needs to be included in the title and not the results is that, for example, if drug A versus drug B has shown superior overall survival, then this can be included in the title that drug A was superior in terms of showing better overall survival compared to drug B, rather than stating that overall survival with drug A was 3 months compared to drug B, which was 2 weeks. So you can clearly see that there is a difference even in the declarative title. In one case we are depicting the results, in another case we are not. So it is always preferred not to include any kind of results, but only the subject matter or overall conclusion of the abstract into the title. The length of the title should not go beyond 20 words. It is preferable if you can accommodate, but it should be ranged between 10 to 20 words. And no abbreviations or acronyms should be included into the title. See, whenever we use abbreviations or acronyms in any case when we are writing, then it should be specified as complete in the first use. So if you are in any case specifying its complete term, then you don't need to include the abbreviations or acronyms. For example, we just discussed randomized control trial. If it is the study design is randomized control trial, then you should specify in the title a randomized control trial rather than an RCT. So this is how we write titles of an abstract, or almost the same rule applies to the titles of the manuscript or the poster. But we'll discuss about the manuscripts and the posters in the coming slides in detail. Coming to the introduction section, we are envisioning your research question in detail, where in this section you will be explaining the background and the research question or the gap that you have identified and what you are doing through your study, that is the scope of the study. That include a subsection of these two parts. Why did you undertake the study, that is the gap analysis that you found through your literature search, and what you evaluated or assessed or investigated. So these are written, this section is written usually with these words: we investigated, the study was conducted to evaluate, the aim of the study is to understand or to examine. So these are the types of terms that you use in writing the introduction section, where you are writing your study objective. The research question should be stated concisely, coherently and very clearly, and objective of the study can be mentioned here if not stated separately. See, introduction can be divided into two parts. One would be the background and the second would be study objective. Or else, if it is a structured abstract and you want to use objective or aims of the study as a separate section, then you can just mention the background or introduction of the study with the gap analysis, and then objective would be the second section of the abstract. So that all depends. If you want to have a separate section for objective, then objectives can be written separately, not merged with the introduction section. So here the most important thing that you highlight is the unmet need. This will show why or the basis of your study. I mean, why did you conduct this particular study, or why did you aim to conduct this particular study is the most preferred thing or most important thing that needs to be included into the introduction section. Moving further, we go to the next section, which is the method section, which includes the documenting your research steps. That is, how did you conduct your research? So 2 to 3 sentences describing the research method used to obtain the results. That will include the techniques used to conduct the study, patients' inclusion or exclusion criteria, the study design, time frame, duration, or treatment details. See, if in the study objectives, if you have mentioned any of this thing previously, then you don't need to include that in method section. For example, while writing an objective, you wrote that the aim of this randomized controlled trial, double-blind controlled trial, is to assess the difference between drug A versus drug B. So, randomized controlled trial and a double-blind study, these two things are actually the part of study design. You have already mentioned that in study objective section, so you don't need to include that again in your methodology section. This will save your words, and also because abstract is a very short part of manuscript, so redundancy will be reduced and readability will be improved. So you can save words also. So at only one place you have to include such information. And describe what are the primary and secondary outcomes of a study is very important. Why did you conducted the study? What would be your assessment endpoints? That would be important. That can be part of your methodology section. And provide as much information as is necessary to understand the study and the results. The basic overview of the study and also linkage between your objective and the results is your method section. So depending on the word count that is available for you, you can provide as much information as it is necessary to understand the overall study and the overall results that you have obtained through that study. Then comes the most important part of the abstract writing is the results writing, because you have lot many results that you found during the conduct of your study, but here you have a very strict limitation of the word count, so you have to summarize all those results into a very brief section. So it would be generally it would not go beyond 5 to 10 sentences describing the results and findings. The major findings: number of patients included in the study, include the primary and key secondary outcomes, include the key information in a figure or a table if allowed. Results should be well balanced. It should not be that you all only want to present the positive results and there is no linkage or no discussion of the negative results. So the results should be well balanced in terms of positive as well as the negative results. For example, in case of randomized controlled trials, if you are studying about a clinical drug, then it has positive effects, that is the efficacy outcomes, while it has the negative effects also in terms of its adverse events. So you have to report both of them. Quantify as much as possible for precision. For example, we just discussed about the overall survival. Just writing that overall survival was better with drug A compared to drug B doesn't suffice the purpose of writing an abstract results. You should write that the overall survival with drug A was 3 months compared to drug B, with which the overall survival was 2 weeks. So the numbers are very important, and if you have conducted any statistical analysis, then statistical analysis data is also very important. For example, the p-value, which shows the difference, a significant difference. So you have to write that. And addressing the safety issues is must for a human study. You can't write an abstract with human studies without reporting the safety issues. So that is a must thing. At least, and also the sequence of writing the results is very important, where you start writing about your primary results and then go to the key secondary outcomes. See, there are multiple of secondary outcomes that you have assessed in the study, but you can't write all of them. So the key secondary outcomes you can mention in the abstract and leave rest of others. Now we have completed three major sections, that is the introduction, methodology and the results section of the abstract. Moving further, we have the conclusion section where we just write 1 to 2 sentences with primary take-home message and include an evaluation of our research and areas for further research, that is very important, and implication of your research if any. For example, uh, if uh, if you want to write about the RCT with drug A and drug B, so you can write in conclusion section the overall survival, or the drug A was superior in terms of overall survival compared to drug B. And also you can write areas of further research mentioning that, for example, if you can just write that the patient size or the sample size included in your research was 100 or restricted to any ethnic area or geographical area, then you can write that future research can be expanded to assess more number of patients and more geographical and a wider geographical area. However, in terms of implication of your research, you can write that drug A can be evaluated further because it has shown the positive results and can be used in such kind of patients. That is just an implication or just an overall interpretation of your results. And should not introduce any new information in the conclusion. That is a very important point, where whatever you have discussed in your results section should form the basis of your conclusions. There should not be any new information that you have not discussed in your results section and you are putting it up in a conclusion. If any results has to be part of any conclusion, that must be very important, then this should have been discussed in your results section. So that is very important. You should have considered writing that into the results section in a greater detail and then concluding anything on the basis of that results. So results are the basis of forming your conclusion rather than any new information that you might have discussed in the full manuscript, but it should have been part of results section of your abstract. So after you have completed the first draft, then check. There are some checklists, checkpoints where you can see whether your abstract has been written in a correct order, in a correct format. Is the significance of the findings very clear? The methods are clear enough to understand about the study? It is clear how these results contributed to the field as a whole. You can link through the unmet need of the field and the conclusion section of your abstract. These two things will tell you whether these results have contributed to the field as a whole. What was the unmet need and what did you find? In order to make these abstracts interesting, must convey a strategic understanding of the novel aspects of the study and the impact of the study could have on betterment of the practice or a treatment landscape. So you should present those results in a very strategic manner. And read the draft as though you had never seen the data. Always, always read the draft abstract as a layperson, as a person that you have never studied science. If you understood that particular abstract as a layperson, then it can be a good abstract for your wider audience. Is the significance of the study to be broader treatment landscape evident? Is everybody able to understand the terms, the words that you have used is clear? The sentences are concise and thorough. So you have to go through this checklist before finally submitting your abstract. Now we have understood the basics of writing an abstract. So now we'll go to the poster development. So poster, as we discussed earlier, that poster is in between the abstract and a full manuscript. It gives you more chance of discussing your results because it has a more word count limit. Further, it does not limit you on using the graphicals. You can present, because sometimes the conference does not allow you to the graphics. Moreover, the number of graphics, if the conference allows you, that is also limited. So you have to be very specific in using the graphics in terms of abstracts. But for poster development, you have greater freedom to use the number and the type of graphics into the poster. You can use the flowcharts, you can use the tabular format, you can use the pictorial graphs, you can use bar graphs, you can use pie charts, you can use the line diagrams to depict your results. So that is without any particular word limit. So you have a better chance to present your results in a more interactive manner. So posters are more detailed than a speech but less than a manuscript, more interactive than either. You have to see and note that posters are more interactive than an abstract, a speech or a manuscript. Even in the manuscript, the, the themes are not that interactive because there is again a limitation on that. One is whether the manuscript will present the colored graphics. Moreover, the number of graphics that you can use in a manuscript is again limited. So there are more chances that you can interact with your audience through the graphics in a poster in a better manner. The font size used in a poster is more compared to the manuscript. So presented during a conference, and a conference attendee can visit a variety of posters and talk with the people who prepared them. So posters, again, you can present the data in a graphical manner and discuss about that data with your audience once they come to see your poster. The attendees that have come to the conference, you can interact with them. So there are double chances of presenting your results in a better manner in terms of posters, because one is you are presenting all your data in a graphical form, and the second, you can discuss face to face with all your attendees. And what the poster depicts research findings, outline a research process where we are discussing about the trial and progress posters, or describe a drug development program. And the typical size of the posters in most of the conferences range from about 3 feet to 3 feet by 6 by 5 feet, and a space on a bulletin board or a wall. And some handouts are provided to summarize the poster and provide the presenter's contact information. So that is handout. Handing a handout to your audience is your choice. It's not a compulsion by each and every conference. That is your choice. If you want your audience to contact you in future, then you can present your handouts to your audience. So what are the basic elements of an effective poster? So these are focused on the main message, and audience catch key facts, clear title and well supported figures. See, when you go to a conference, there are generally hundreds and thousands of posters that are presented into a conference. If it is a big international conference, then it may range to 600, 700 posters. So you want your audience should be attracted towards your poster, then it should be catchy, it should have clear font size, well supported figures, and the audience should catch the key facts just by looking at the poster. They should understand what is the key message you are trying to give through your poster. So that is very important because that will increase the footfall of the audience towards your poster. Well organized content keep improving the readability and also connection with your audience. Keep the sequence well ordered and obvious. Sections should be easy to locate. It should not be that anybody has to find, okay, there is an efficacy section and now we should find where is the adverse event section, or where is the how many patients were included into the study, what is the sample size, how the samples were collected. So audience should not face that issue. It should be very obvious that where this section should come. So again, it is an visual thing that you are presenting, then appearance matters a lot. Appearance important for attracting attention. For 600 posters, one person attending a conference, so he can't go to each 600 each and every poster that has been displayed. So you need to attract your audience towards your poster. So attention is very important. So the text should be very minimal into your poster, and let the graphs and images should tell the story about the study and also the results of your study. Whatever text you should have written, and also the text in the graphs and the tables or the images should be large enough to read, and then enough contrast between type color and background color. How it would be if I am using um, black background and using the green pen to write over it, so green font color, so that won't go very effectively. So the color contrast should be very much well balanced, so that the audience can easily read it. Nobody likes to deep dive into the text to find the conclusions. See, this is an organization of a poster content, where you can have starting from poster number, then goes for the poster title. Below the poster title, we generally have the authors and their affiliations. Then section headings clearly mentioned with the blue ribbons. Then subheadings again blue colored, so everybody can easily read out where the subsections come. Then you can see first we have the introduction section, then methodology section, then patient data, background data, and then we have the detailed results section with lots of tables and the graphical information. Then goes the conclusion section, which is clearly in marked and highlighted, so that if somebody just want to have a look at what is the overall conclusion of your study, then just directly go to that section. Then brief references with the acknowledgement, which is very important. Then any sponsorship, if you got the poster developed out of any study conducted from a funding, then you should mention that funding agency or the sponsorship that you have received. Then at the bottom we again have the meeting details also, where you are specifying which conference it is, what are the further details. And also nowadays the conferences look for a QR code, where the audience can just scan and get a e-copy of your poster as well as the linked abstract. So this is how a poster content goes, and what is the correct sequence of the sections that needs to be included into a poster. So this is a brief listing of all the sections of the poster content, which include poster number, poster title, author and affiliations, and abstracts if required, section headings, which include background or introduction section, again highlighting why did you conduct this study, what is the gap, unmet need. Then we have the objective section. Some posters include this section as a separate section, or we can merge it with the background or introduction section, as we just saw in the abstract. Then the method section, have the results section detailing about what you have obtained, and then the conclusion section. And some poster use the discussion and conclusion as an heading, and then the references. So these are the overall poster contents. Then we have some subheadings, body text, conclusion, references, followed by acknowledgements and the meeting details along with the QR code. So this is the organization of the poster content. Thank you.